We're back live at the Potato Expo, and keep in mind that you're seeing us live, you're seeing us here in the Austin Convention Center, but also each one of these episodes will be posted on the Potato Expo webpage. So all year long, you're going to be able to go back if there's any sessions that you missed, because frankly, between the Innovation Hub, between what we're doing at the Eye, there's so much important information for the potato farmer. You don't want to miss any of it. And with me is Richard Lankau, the assistant professor at the Department of Plant Pathology at the University of Wisconsin at Madison. Long title, but it's all about the soil.
Yeah.
So, we've talked a lot over the day and a half about water and soil, and your specific focus is soil biology, which is different than soil health.
Yeah.
It's probably the step before soil health. So explain to me, if you would, what soil biology is and what your research is finding out and how it's going to help the potato farmer.
Sure. So we think soil biology is one of the least understood parts of soil health, but we know, and we're learning more all the time about how complicated the living organisms in soils are. And all the things they do, good and bad, for a crop. So one of the things my research and my colleagues' research are trying to understand is, what microbes do we have in our soils now? Why do we have those microbes and not others? And which ones do we want to have that will benefit crops, allow us to grow crops with fewer chemical inputs, healthier plants with fewer disease issues, and generally maintain the sort of high yields we need in a more sustainable manner.
So I guess, and again, I'm not a biologist, or especially even a soil biologist, so I might say something a little silly here, but I'm going to assume that the microbes that were in soil 5 years ago or 10 years ago is different than what the microbes are today, and may change dramatically in the next year or 2 years. Everything that I've heard from the farmers over the past year's weather conditions has changed the biology of their soil. So this is huge. I mean, this is keeping you busy.
It's hard. It's complicated. And it's true that microbe communities are really, partly because they're so diverse, there can be hundreds or thousands of different kinds of microbes in any soil. They can respond to a lot of things, right? And some of them will respond to a drought. Some of them will respond to a flood. Some will respond to a cold winter or a warm summer.
Or a flood that has contamination because of the poultry that was decimated in it.
Right.
So now you've got those organisms affecting the soil as well.
Yeah, and you could really make yourself crazy trying to think about everything that could go on. And that's where we are in the field. Unfortunately, we're still trying to figure out these answers of the soils are changing all the time. What are the changes that are really important? What are the things that we're doing as growers that have the biggest changes, have the biggest impacts, good or bad, right? So we can hopefully in the future provide some recommendations of, there are lots of things that aren't under your control. You can't control the weather much as we want to.
Right. We've discovered that, right?
But there are things you can control as a grower, and so we're trying to figure out, what are the tools they have in their toolbox they could use to make things better, or to make things more resilient, we like to say, to all the things that you can't control. What can you do to make a soil that's going to maintain its ability to do what you want, even when there's a drought or when there's a flood?
So when you look at your research, and you're still doing the research, at the end of the day, what does it look like for a farmer? Is it a website they go to? Is it, how do they take your hard work, your insights, your talent, and put it in use at the farm?
We're working on two avenues for that. One is general recommendations that we can make through our extension services, through websites, through platforms like this, about general good practices. If they want to improve the health of their soil, here are some things that have been well validated. The other thing we're really trying to move towards is testing. So, most growers will do test for the nutrient content of their soil. Every year, before they plant, more frequently. Currently, we're not doing anything that tests for the quality of the biology of your soil, but that technology is on the horizon. It's available. What we need is the data and the knowledge base to turn the data into a recommendation. So we're hoping in the next 5-10 years, we'll be able to develop tests where a grower could measure what's in their exact soil and know what to do based on that data.
So it seems to me that once you have that test, the biology test, let me call it that, versus the soil health test, that could be even more valuable because it's more predictive in nature. That, if you look at the biology, you can, extrapolate what probably is going to happen versus just here's a snapshot of what it is today.
Well, that's our hope. And I think what's really important is for everyone to understand that we're not there yet, and there's a lot of work that would go into making that prediction reliable and valid. But it is our goal to find those things that we can measure with soils with the technology that we have that can make a good prediction. We think especially disease pressure is one where there's good potential for that, but also things like drought tolerance or tolerance to low nutrients. We think we possibly will be able to make those predictions better if we can inform them not just with the soil chemistry and soil physics, but also the soil biology.
Well, I think your research is fabulous, and good luck with it. And I really, I've learned a lot and really never thought about the biology of the soil, but rather than soil health. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
On behalf of all the potato farmers. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a lot more about the potato.